Hey Krishna, thank you all so much for joining us today. We will be starting with the prayers. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम् नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवसादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. We'll offer prayers to Valmiki Muni, Lord Sri Ramachandra, and our dear Lord Hanuman. पूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं कोनयाते परां गतिम् वेदवेद्ये परिपुंसे जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदप्राचे सतात् आसीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि आञ्जनेयमधिपाटनालनं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततलमूलवासिनं भावयामि भवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं भाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमथ राक्षसान्तकम् जयत्राश्रितसन्त्रासध्वान्तविद्वांसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. We are in a Sundara Kanda, which is the most beautiful part of Ramayana. In fact, if we just read Sundarakand, it's as good as reading the entire Ramayana. You get the phala of reading the entire Ramayana. And the theme of the Sundarakand is the benefits a devotee receives from his spiritual master. The benefits of being connected to an acharya is described in the Sundarakanda. It's the very first verse of the Sundarakanda is very highly commented on. And there we see this lovely allegory of how the Sita Devi, she represents the Jiva, though she's not the Jiva, she represents very compassionately, she takes on the role of the Jivas to show by example that when we are in this particular material world, we are all in this Bhavasagar. At that time, it is only the spiritual master who can come and relieve us from our condition. Just like how Hanuman, he flies in the sky and he goes to retrieve Sita and unite her with Lord Ramachandra. Similarly, by the mercy of the spiritual master, the Jiva will get an opportunity to be united with the Supreme Lord. So that is the theme that is discussed in the Sundarakanda of the Ramayana. So the flight of Hanuman was first described in great detail, how Hanuman stretched his neck, raised his hand, and then he took position with his two forehands in the front, and then just like how one would run a running race, he took position and he flew from the Mahendragiri Parvat. And as he flew from the Mahendragiri Parvat, so many little particles of rocks and dust all went up with him, and then they couldn't keep up with Hanuman's pace, and eventually they fell off, just like how relatives follow their guests to some extent outside the door and then they return back to their homes. So Hanuman As he flew on in the sky, he was looking like a huge mountain covered with many, many flowers. And his shadow was 10 yojanas wide and 30 yojanas long. And it appeared very, very beautiful in the water. So, like this, when Hanuman was flying, the five elements came into the service of Hanuman. Hanuman faced three different obstacles: an obstacle out of love, an obstacle sent by the demigods, and a real obstacle. And Hanuman faced each of these obstacles with a strength. The obstacle that came with love, he faced with love, or he reciprocated with love. The obstacle that was sent by demigods, he used his intelligence. And the obstacle that was a real obstacle, which was a very, very difficult situation, he won over it by surrendering to the Supreme Lord and acting with determination. So, after the three obstacles were won over by Lord Hanuman, he finally entered the beautiful city of Lanka. First, he goes on to this great mountain called as Lamba, and he takes a view of the actual city of Lanka, which was in the center of Lanka. So then he made his way all the way to the city, and there he saw this beautiful city fortified with huge walls. And when he tried to enter the city, he thought he would enter the city when it was dark. And he took the form of a small monkey in the size of a cat. And the first obstacle he faced inside Lanka was the visa officer, who was Lankini or Lanka. But then when she tried stopping Hanuman, she first questioned Hanuman in various ways why he was there in that place. And Hanuman was answering, saying that he's only a visitor and he would get out of the country very soon. But then Lankini, when she was questioned, "Who are you?" She gets very angry with Hanuman and she slaps Hanuman. And Hanuman doesn't keep quiet. With the tight fist of his left hand, he gives her a punch. And then she goes falling down. And once she recovers from her swoon, she realizes that the end of Lanka is nearing. This was predicted by Brahmaji long time ago. So anyhow, Hanuman was given permission to enter, and then he goes inside in the night and he sees that Lanka is very, very gorgeous. It is very opulent, and every nook and corner was filled with gold. It was looking very beautiful, the golden Lanka, right? It is mentioned on Shukla Paksha Trayodashi Phalguna Masa. That is when Hanuman actually sets his foot in Lanka. And Hanuman, he saw that Lanka was extremely beautiful. It was shining like a huge mountain. And he also had the darshan of the Pushpaka Viman. And we saw the details in the Pushpaka Viman, how goddess Gajalakshmi is positioned on top of the Pushpaka Vimana. And it's also a part of the Shilpa Shastra that is followed even to this day in all the temples, ancient temples. You will see a beautiful motif of Gajalakshmi at the entrance of every deity's Garbhagraha. Okay, so that is what we saw about Pushpaka Viman. And then, of course, he went inside. He searched everywhere. What was he looking for? He was looking for Sita Devi. So Hanuman, he went and searched on all the streets, and then he searched on the Pushpaka. Then he went into the great palace of Ravana. So the great palace of Ravana was set forth in the middle of that Trikuta mountain, and it was shining forth so nicely. And Hanuman enters that and he sees all the demonesses were sleeping. And he saw multitude of women, and he was trying to keenly look at every woman's face to see if he can find Sita. Finally, his eyes were set on a central couch where Ravana was sleeping, and he was amazed at the strength and the stature of Ravan. And he was thinking, "Oh, he's so handsome and he's so strong, but unfortunately, he has this one terrible quality of uncontrolled lust." And then later, he saw another woman sleeping near her in a nearby bed, and he initially mistakes her to be Sita Devi. And what does he do? So he like how it is natural for a monkey, he gets excited and he goes up and down the pillar and he's jumping and he's kissing. his tail, Chuchumba Pucham. He started kissing his tail and he thought he found a Sita. But then, just like how little kids sometimes they get excited and then they are told by their parents, you have to take a time out, you have to calm down. So, like that, Hanuman gives himself a time out and then he calms down and he realizes this is definitely not Sita. Sita is not going to be happy like this sleeping next to Ravan. So, he realizes his mistake and he trains his mind and Hanuman comes to realizations. This was very beautiful. It was a lot of life lessons for how to train the mind. Right? He says all auspicious and inauspicious states of behavior of the senses is actually only controlled by the mind. What is the problem as long as my mind is steady? Why is he telling this? He tells this because not only did he mistake Mandodari to be Sita, but also he, as a brahmachari, he was going and looking at every single woman, and he was a little worried if his brahmacharya would get broken. But then he understands that I have to search for Sita among women. So I should be looking at women, but my mind should be trained. And we went through a lot of content about the mind. And then Hanuman, he says, the steady mind is the root of all happiness and well being. I must endeavor with enthusiasm without getting into depression. Why was Hanuman getting into depression? Because he thought he did not find Sita. In spite of looking through every single room and nook and corner, he was not able to find Sita. He was getting frustrated. He was getting depressed. But then he brought himself out of depression. and he was thinking, if I don't accomplish this task, then what will happen? Everyone is going to suffer just because of me. So he spoke out and he brought himself out of depression. And then he comes out of the residential area and his eyes fall upon a particular garden, which is none other than the Ashoka Vatika. So Hanuman, at this point in time, he offers a prayer. He comes to the realization that it's not that by my efforts I'm doing something. Anything can happen only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord and the Goddess of Fortune. So he offers his obeisances to Sri Ramachandra, Lakshmana, along with Janakatmaja, who is Janaki or Sita Devi. And in his extreme love for Lord Ramachandra, Ramachandra and his desire to somehow or the other find Sita somehow or the other, he also offers obeisances to every possible demigod and everybody, every controller of every direction. So he begins to offer obeisances to Rudra, Indra, Yama, Vayu. Like this, he started praying to everybody because he was so desperate. He was so desperate that somehow I should find Sita and I should unite Sita with Lord Ramachandra. That is when, right after he paid obeisances, that is when he was able to actually get the darshan of Sita. He was able to enter the Ashokavan, and there he could see that Sita Devi, he thought to himself, Sita Devi will come to a pond here because this pond looks very auspicious. It has lotus flowers and it is very ideal for a woman to come to this lake, and she might come in the evening time to offer oblations. So she might come here. So while he was thinking like that, Hanuman, he sees Sita coming into this arena of this pond, this area of the pond. And how did she look? Pitena ekena samavitam klishtena uttama vasasa. So she was covered with a single cloth of yellow cover, which was wrinkled with which was without any decorations, and she looked like Vipadmam iva Padminim. She looked like a lotus pond without lotuses. So you can imagine that description of Valmiki. And she was tortured by sorrow and she was in a very, very pitiable condition. And as she came near that pond, Hanuman could recognize her with great difficulty, just like how a poetry that has a lot of grammatical mistakes will convey a totally different meaning. That is the analogy Valmiki gives. That means actually Ramachandra, the identification that he gave Hanuman about Sita was the Sita that he was there with him in Ayodhya, the very nice, well-nourished Sita. But then Sita was so emaciated at this point in time, and she was without any sort of decorations, and she was in such a sulky mood. It was so, if it was someone else, if it was not Hanuman, they couldn't have even recognized, oh, this is Sita. It was so difficult, just like how it is very difficult to understand the meaning of a poem that has a lot of grammatical mistakes. That is how Valmiki describes. And but however, he saw that her heart was firmly fixed in Lord Ramachandra. And Hanuman came to this conclusion that this Ram is doing an impossible task. I'm amazed that he has even preserved his body for so many months. And then he thinks, oh, what a match. So he matches Sita with Ram and Ram with Sita. And he says, yeah, for Ramachandra, Sita is very, very good match. But then for Sita, Ram is okay. He's not so great. Sita deserves so much more. Just with her Asitekshana, just with her eyes alone, she scores a million times more than Lord Ramachandra. So, like this, he's so impressed with the present in the presence of Sita Devi, and he thinks, who else can be a better woman than this lady? And this is when Hanuman comes to the realization that I underestimated. I was thinking, why is this Ram unnecessarily lamenting for a woman? See, he comes from the Vanara Jati, and he has seen how Vanaras behave. Though he himself was a great brahmachari, he's generally seen Vanaras were not like, okay, I'll keep only one wife and I will do anything for one wife. It was not like that. But when he saw in Rishyamukha Parvat, when he saw Ramachandra lamenting for Sita so much, at that time he didn't understand. He was thinking, what is this? Why is this Lord lamenting so much for a woman? But now, when he really saw Sita, he could understand she's worth so much more. He says, for her sake, anything can be done. Lord Ramachandra, yes, for her sake, he fought with Karadushan and Trishiras and 14,000 demons. And for her sake, Vali was killed. For her sake, I crossed the ocean. And if Rama even turns the world upside down, even then it is not enough. That is my opinion. Sita is so much worth. He says, among the three worlds, if it is a choice between the kingdom or Sita, the daughter of Janaka, all the kingdom of the three worlds will not approach a 16th part of Sita. That means if one can get the 14 worlds under his control, even that is not worth even 1/16th part of getting Sita. Correct, right? So that is the greatness of Mother Sita. And he comes to this realization, being a great brahmachari, he realizes, now this is the greatness of Sita. Now I understand why Lord Rama was lamenting. The daughter of Janaka, the daughter-in-law of Dasharath, the wife of Rama, she has abandoned everything and she has come here. And in fact, Ramachandra is the one who's actually doing an impossible task by holding on to his body, and he's not depressed. It has been 10 months since he has been separated by Sita. So, like this, he was thinking. At this point in time, where was Hanuman? Hanuman was on top of a Simshupa tree. He was sitting and he was watching Sita, who was walking and coming along with the demonesses near that lotus pond. And all this was going through in his mind. And with a firm mind, he told himself, yes, I have seen her now. This is indeed Sita. And then he leaned against the branch of a tree and he felt very, very satisfied that he finally saw her. So we are continuing from there. So Hanuman, he was waiting for the opportune moment to actually talk to Sita. He saw that Sita was always surrounded by different demonesses. The evening was approaching and it was also close to night time. The moon rose in the sky and the entire environment looked very, very peaceful. There, Hanuman saw Sita, whose face was like a full moon, but however, that full moon was filled with grief. It was like a ship that is sinking into the water because of excessive weight. That's how her face was. Her face was sinking down. And how was Sita sitting there? She was surrounded with demonesses of horrible appearances. Now, this is important for us to know because there's a reason why the appearances of the demonesses are given. We will know that soon in today's class itself. So Valmiki, he writes the appearances of the demonesses in two places, and we will soon understand why the appearances are important. So these terrible demonesses, how were they looking? Some of the demonesses, they just had one eye. Some had a single ear, and some just had conch-shell-like ears. Some had flattened nose up to the head. Some had long, lean neck. Some of their hair was disheveled. Some did not even have hair. Some had blanket-like hair. Some had hanging stomach and breast. Some had hanging face. Some of them had hanging knees. One was short, one was very tall, one was dwarfish, one had sharp protruding teeth. Some had crooked mouth, some had green eyes, and some had very terrible face. So like this, she was surrounded by all kinds of horrible demonesses in Lanka. Sita was looking like the moon that was covered with the clouds at the end of the rainy season, and there was no luster on her face because she was not with her husband. She was like an unplucked veena, when a veena is unused and kept uh, aside for too long, and you take it out, you'll have to string it nicely to bring back the original sounds. It looks very unkempt, right? So she was looking like that. She was not at all happy. She had tears in her eyes, and she was feeling miserable. She didn't know what to do. She was looking in an emaciated state. Hanuman was witnessing all this, and he, with tears in his eyes, he started crying. This is all there in the Ramayana. Hanuman had tears in his eyes. He started weeping for this pitiable condition of Sita Devi. And he paid obeisance to Lord Sri Rama, Lakshman, and he was praying to them, somehow give me an opportunity so that I may be able to talk to her. Thinking about Rama and Lakshman, paying obeisances to them, Hanuman again covered himself with leaves. So the night passed by, but the Rakshasis were surrounding Sita, and Hanuman could not do anything. Then it was the early morning, Brahma Muhurta. Many of the Brahma Rakshasas who were there in Lanka, who were well versed in the 6 parts of the Vedas, they were performing great sacrifices. Even in Ravana's Lanka, there were many learned Rakshasa, Brahma Rakshasas, Brahmana Rakshasas, just like Ravana himself. Ravana himself was a Brahmana, but he also belonged to the Rakshasa Jati. So his mother was a Rakshas and his father was a Brahmana. And he had many such trained Brahma Rakshasas in his country. And in the morning, they all rose early and they were chanting and they were performing sacrifices. And the king of Lanka was sleeping in his palace, and he was woken up early in the morning with sounds of various auspicious instruments that was very pleasing to the ear, just like how they wake up a great king. So when a king has to be woken up, the great bards and everyone, they go and sing the glories of the king, and they play very nice musical instruments. So he was woken up and he washed his face and he decorated himself with garlands. He wore a very, very beautiful silken cloth. And the first thing in the morning is that he was reminded of Sita. So his heart was filled with lust. As soon as he woke up, and hurriedly he decided that he would go to the Ashoka garden and go and see Sita Devi. In fact, some of the acharyas, they mentioned that this was almost his daily ritual. First thing in the morning, all that he wanted to do is go and see Sita. So while he just got up and got ready, he was all set to go to the Ashoka Vatika. And while he was going, 100 women followed Ravana, like Deva and Gandharva women who follow Indra. Like that, hundreds of women were following. And how did they follow Ravan? Some of them, they were holding lamps of gold. Some were carrying fans, chauris and fans, like this palm leaf fans. Others had umbrellas. Some people had vessels of gold with some nice drink. Some others took pillows and they walked behind Ravana so that they could give Ravana some comfort and support. So like that, people were carrying all kinds of things. One lady was carrying liquor, another lady was carrying jewels. So like this, they were all following Ravana. And Hanuman, who was in that particular tree, who was covered with leaves in the Simshupa tree, he began to hear the sound of the waistbands and the ankle bells of many women. Suddenly, he started hearing clinking noise, and he could understand a lot of people are approaching the Ashoka Vatika. And there, when he peeped through the leaves, he could see this great Ravan was filled with lust, vanity, and intoxication, with reddish eyes that were slanting. And he was so struck with love, with passion, with lust. He was looking like Kamadev, personified. Not that he was beautiful, like Krishna, beautiful, but his eyes was filled with love, like as a Kamadev. He was like Kama without the bow and arrow. So he was coming like that with his eyes full of lust for the sake of Sita. And Hanuman, he saw how Ravana was walking with the gait of a lion, and he was readjusting his upper garment, making it look very nice. And Hanuman was thinking in his mind, oh, this must be that Ravan. He could understand because he has already seen Ravan. When Ravan was kidnapping Sita Devi, he remembered. He remembered actually when he saw the Sita for the first time also this section comes where he remembers, he tries to remind himself, I have seen this lady somewhere. Yes, this must be Sita. She was the one who was abducted by Ravan. So similarly, when he saw Ravan, he could understand this is definitely that Ravan. And immediately he ensured that he slipped into the leaves and he covered himself with the branches and leaves. And when the sound was coming of Ravan entering into Ashokavan, Sita Devi was alerted and she was trembling like a plantain tree in wind, seeing Ravana. Sita, she just covered her body with her arms. She covered her stomach and thighs and breasts with her hands, and she started crying. She just started crying, oh, this guy has come again. And Ravana came there so that he could allure Sita or threaten her to death. So that was the intention with which Ravana used to come, and Sita was covering herself and crying so badly. Then Ravana, he went in front of Sita and he began pleading to Sita. He said, oh, Visalakshi, you have such beautiful wide eyes. You are endowed with all bodily excellences. You are so beautiful. Anybody who sees you cannot find a single fault in your limbs. You're so lovable. Please, please show some respect to me. Look at me. Don't be so fearful looking at me. I will not touch you. I have so much lust, but I will not touch you. Don't become absorbed in sorrow like this. Allow me to touch you. Give me your permission. You are indeed the gem among all women. There is no woman like you. Come on, get up, wear nice clothes, make decorations. Why are you sitting in such a terrible condition? You are now youthful and your youth is going to pass away. It will not come back again. So immediately, now itself become my wife. Give up this ignorance. Hmm? I can give the entire universe. I can bring the entire universe and place it at your lotus feet. In fact, I can bring all the cities under control and give it even to your father, Janak Maharaj, if he so desires in return of getting you. And in this world, there is nobody else that is equal to me. I am meant for you and you are meant for me. We are the perfect match. Look at my great power. The Devas and the Asuras are under my control. I have the entire universe under my control. And look at that Ram. He's just going around in the forest, observing austerities. He's exiled after all. He's sleeping on the floor, and I don't even know if he's alive or dead. But look at me, just marry me and don't wait for him. He's not going to come back. You're wearing silken cloth, but it looks terrible. It's in a bad condition. You're so emaciated. You're not eating anything. You've not decorated yourself. but still I'm so attracted to you and I'm not getting happiness looking at my beautiful wives because my mind is constantly attracted to you. This Rama, he's not equal to me in any way. He's not equal to me in the might that I have. He's not equal to me in the austerities that I have done. He's not equal to me in the strength that I have, or in the wealth or brilliance or fame that I have. Who is he after all? He's like an ascetic, a homeless guy. He's just roaming around in the forest aimlessly. I will give you all the hoards of wealth. I'll give you land. I will give you excellent food, excellent drink, and we can roam around freely. Nobody can stop us. And we'll enjoy all the luxuries roaming from one garden to the other. So just sport with me. We can go flying to different places and we can enjoy together. And not just you, you can bring along all your relatives. All your relatives can come and they can enjoy in Lanka and we can go sporting from one place to the other. So this was the proposal that Ravana was having. Then what happened? तस्य तदवचनं श्रुत्वा सीता रौद्रस्य राक्षसः आर्तदीनस्वरादीनं प्रत्युवाच ततः शनैः. Sita, on listening to this horrible, horrible words of this terrible Rakshasa, she was very tormented. Raudrasya Rakshasa, angry, terrible, gory Rakshasa. She was very tormented. Artha means distressed. Deenavasana, in a very pitiable condition. Pratyuvacha tatashanai, very, very slowly. Shanai means very slowly. She began to respond in a pitiable voice. Her voice was also not coming out. She was so weak. And she told him, दुःखार्तरुदती सीता वेपमाना तपस्विनी चिन्तयति वरारोहा पतिमेव पतिव्रता तृणम् अन्तर्तः कृत्वा प्रत्युवाच शुचिस्मिता. Shuchismita means one who has a pleasant smile. She's such a pleasant woman. But then she was tormented with grief. Dukhartharudati. She was crying in a terrible, pitiable state. Vepamana, tapasvini. She was a tapasvini. And she had beautiful limbs. And what did she do? Thinking about her husband alone. Patimeva pativrata. Constantly, she was just chintayanti vararoha patimeva pativrata. She was chintayanti. She was thinking of her husband alone. That Sita, who was sobbing and shivering, she took a piece of straw. Trinam antartah kritva pratyuvacha shuchismita. That means she took a blade of grass and she kept it in front of Ravana and she began to reply. So why did she keep a blade of grass? Now, many of you know the answer, but there are so many answers given by our acharyas, and I'll quickly go through all the answers. First and foremost thing, Sita Devi, she knew this is a king. Out of respect, first of all, she placed the straw to give him a seat. So generally, to have a seat, you place a darba grass, right? That is considered a seat. So she offered him a seat. That is one reason. Second, she kept a piece of straw and she looked down and she spoke looking at that straw because she did not want to look at the face of another man. Third, she put a straw as a screen because when she speaks to Parapurusha, that is a different man, she wanted a screen. She didn't want to see him. So that straw served as a screen. Another meaning, she put a straw because she is telling Ravana, you are lower than a piece of grass. She put a straw because she wanted to indicate to Ravan the advice that I am giving, even a blade of grass will understand, but I don't think you are going to understand. And she was also indicating through that straw that, do you remember Lord Ramachandra used a straw as a weapon, that is a piece of grass. It's called Aishika. You take a piece of grass, you chant a mantra and you release it, it becomes a Brahmastra, like how he wanted to kill this Kakasur, right? The crow demon. So she's reminding Ram, this piece of straw, Ramachandra will use this piece of straw as a weapon and kill you. She's also putting that piece of straw, telling him, you are lower than an animal. You're like an animal. You don't even understand any basic etiquette. And then she, with that straw, she was indicating to Ravana that your wealth that you're offering, the land, the wealth, all that you're offering, that is like straw to me. And then she also indicates with that one straw that my life is like the straw. I'm ready to give it up. I don't even consider my life so important that I will hold it in a way that it is my body can satisfy you. Okay, so that is not the aim of my life. So I will give up my life if it is needed. And then she puts a piece of straw to tell him, just like how when a straw is put into a sea in a huge body of water, the straw is washed out. Similarly, Lord Ramachandra will wash out all the faults that you have. Okay, if you go and fold your palms and surrender unto him, Lord Ramachandra will accept you. And then she puts a piece of straw to tell him, dismiss your pride, be like a straw and go and surrender to Lord Ramachandra. And Lord Ramachandra will accept. She puts a straw to tell him, I've put a straw in front of you. If you bend down to pick that straw, Lord Ramachandra will think, oh, this is Sharanagati, and he will give you protection. And she also indicates with that straw that I will burn you down like a straw if you misbehave or if you speak terribly. And she also means to say by putting that straw that just like how Lord Narasimhadev appeared from a pillar, this Raghava Sinha, my husband, will appear from a piece of straw and destroy you. She put a straw because she's indicating, just like how Vamanadev used a blade of grass to poke the eyes of Shukracharya, who went inside the Kamandalu when Bali was giving the dan. Actually, this part is not there in Bhagavatam, it is there in other Puranas. So when Bali was giving dan, they both pour water, right? Vindhyavali and Bali, when they pour water, at that time Shukracharya, to stop the dan, he takes the form of a bug and he goes inside that Kamandalu so that he can stop the spout of that Kamandalu. And that's when Vamana Dev, he uses darba grass and pokes the eye of the bug. And then Shukracharya is not able to stop the water from being poured. So Vamanadev used a straw once upon a time. Similarly, Lord Ramachandra will use that straw and poke you and kill you. And then finally, she also put a straw to tell him Lanka will perish one day and only this piece of straw will exist. So many commentaries on why she kept a blade of grass. Okay, so she keeps a blade of grass in front of Ravana, and then she starts advising Ravan. She tells, turn your mind from me. Fix your mind on your wives. You have so many wives. You have won so many women from all over the world, from different kinds of species. Like you have Naga women, Gandharva women, Apsara women, demigod women, Rakshasa women, demoniac women. So many species of women you have. You have women everywhere. You have your Pattamahishi, you have Mandodari. So you should be happy. Why are you setting your mind on me? I was born in the great lineage of Janaka Maharaj, and I was married to the great lineage of Dhasharath Maharaj. And I just have one husband, and my mind is fixed on my husband. I don't want to think of any other man. So you please turn back your mind, and I am another person's wife. So I'm definitely not suitable for you. Don't think of me as your wife. In fact, as a king, you should go and protect your wives. And you should think that other women in your kingdom are also protectable. They should also be protected nicely. Understanding that I am another man's wife, you should treat me with respect. That should be your attitude towards me. Other wives of other men should also be protected. They should not be lusted after. So become a nice example. Don't become an object of humiliation and make a fool out of yourself by wanting to be with me. Iha santo na vasanti santo va nanuvartase tatahi viparita te buddhiraj aravarjita. So she says, Iha santo na va, are there no good people? Or even if they are good people here, you're not following them? Just like Vibhishan is a good person in Lanka, but is Ravana following Vibhishan? No. Right? So he says, she says, are there no good people in Lanka? Or even if there could be one or two following them, your mind is devoid of all traditions and it is completely perverse. You have such a perverse mind. That is why you're behaving and talking like this. If a king has uncontrolled mind, if he's interested in the wrong path, then his entire kingdom will be destroyed. Very soon, this Lanka will be destroyed just because of your sin, just because you are simply lusting after me. शक्या लोभयितुं नाहम् ऐश्वर्येण धनेन वा अनन्या राघवानेहं भास्करेण प्रभायता. See, Raman, I am not capable of being tempted by your wealth or money. Naham aishwaryena dhanena va. Don't think, Shakya lobayitum. You will not get me by Aishwarya or Dhana. Other than Raghava, Ananya Raghava Neham Bhaskarena Prabhayata. Other than Raghava, cannot even think of anyone else. So I am like the sunshine with the sun. So just like how the sunshine can never be separated from the sun, similarly, I will never be separated from Raghava. Bhaskarena Prabhayata. This analogy comes multiple times in the Ramayana to show the relationship between Sita Devi and Lord Ramachandra. If Lord Ramachandra is the sun, then she is the Prabha. She is the sunshine. So she herself says this multiple times. Ramachandra says this multiple times. Again and again, you will find this very beautiful analogy in the Ramayana. इदित्तस हि धर्मज्ञ शरणागत वत्सलः तेन मैत्री भवतु ते यदि जीवितुमिच्छसि. यदि जीवितुमिच्छसि, if you really want to live, iditah sa hi dharmagnya sharanagata vatsala. Lord Ramachandra is sharanagata vatsala. She doesn't say go and surrender unto him because he's sharanagata vatsala. She says if you really want to live, go and have maitri with him. Tena maitri bhavatu. Go and seek friendship with Rama. Why she says that she could, already indirectly with that piece of grass, she was indicating go and surrender unto him. He will not see your bad qualities. He will accept you. She was indicating. Here also in this verse, indirectly she's telling he's Sharanagata Vatsala. But when she gives him instruction, she says go and make friendship with him. She doesn't tell go and fall at his feet and surrender. The reason is because Sita Devi was following the principle of Rajaniti. She cannot tell another king who's ruling very nicely, go and surrender to another person. So she says very nicely, indirectly, yes, he is Dharmagnya. He knows all the Dharma. He's Sharanagata Vatsala. Especially when it comes to protecting the Dharma of Sharanagati, Lord Ramachandra will protect it very nicely. But still, I am telling you, just go and have friendship with him. Just have friendship with him and he will take care of you. He will not kill you. Make friendship with Lord Ramachandra. So like that Sita, very dignifiedly, she was telling Ravana, go and make friendship with him. And here, another analogy is given. The same straw and wheel analogy is that this was, I think, from my Guru Maharaj's lecture. So there is the straw, the piece of straw and a wheel. Now, when you throw a straw, same logic, when you throw a straw into the ocean, what happens? The ocean washes out the straw. But there is a huge whale that is also there in the water. Does the ocean wash out the whale? No. Why? The reason is because the straw doesn't think I belong to the ocean. The straw naturally doesn't belong to the ocean. So the straw is washed out. But the whale naturally thinks this is my home. He naturally takes shelter of the ocean. So the whale stays in the ocean. This is an interesting analogy where Ravana, actually, he was not considering himself to be favorable towards Ravana was not considering himself to be favorable towards Lord Ramachandra. Whereas a person who considers himself to be even a little favorable, to think Rama's mine, okay, I belong to Rama, we will have some favorable friendship, that person is immediately accepted, just like how the ocean accepts the whale, while the ocean doesn't accept the straw and the straw goes out. Okay, Ravana, who was pecked with so many bad qualities, was like that straw who had to be rejected, unfortunately. She tells, my dear husband, she says to Ravan, my husband, sorry, my dear husband, who's the destroyer of all foes, will take me away from you, just like how Lord Vishnu once upon a time took 3 steps and he took away the prosperity of the Asuras. So very soon Ramachandra will come, he will kill you, he'll kill all the Rakshasas in Lanka. So she says this, and then Ravan, he gets very angry. He says, hey, Sita, whatever harsh words you're speaking about me, all this, it is because you're speaking like this, hearing all this, I'm fit to get very, very angry, so much so that you are fit to be slain. I'm going to kill you for the words you have spoken, but then I am not killing you. I'm leaving you alive simply because of the lust that I have for you. That is the only reason I'm sparing you. Otherwise, hearing these words that you have spoken, I would have killed you a long time back. But now I give you 2 months' time, and that is the deadline. You have to give in to my desire. If on the end of the 2 months, if you do not accept my proposal, then you will be killed and I will have you for breakfast. You will be my breakfast and I will eat you. So seeing this deadline that was given by Ravan, seeing how Sita Devi was trembling like this, the Devas and the Gandharvas and the Apsaras, they all looked from the sky and they were so worried for Sita Devi. Sita then tells Ravana, hey Ravana, you are suited to be burnt into ashes. Even now you're talking about lust. Even now you're telling, if you're fit to be killed for the words you spoke, but I'm not killing you because I'm so lustful. I want to be with you. Even now you have not given up lust. You are to be burnt into ashes. Huh? Actually, she's a pativrata, right? Sita Devi. She says, by my austerities, I can burn you. I can burn you this second into ashes. But I am not doing it because I don't want to reduce my glory by burning you of all people. And I leave that task to Lord Ram. So like this, when Ravana heard these very stinging words from Sita Devi, he looked at her with cruel eyes, like as if he's going to, smash her. But then Ravana, he called all these different demonesses who were around him. Again, the description of the demonesses is given. So hold on to the description for a while. Again, he called all these demonesses with single eye, one with single ear, another with ear as a covering, another with cow-like ears, another with elephant-like ears, another with feet like an elephant, one like a horse, like a feet like a horse. The other one had 1 feet like a cow. Another had hair over the feet. Some had single eye with single foot. Some had big black neck. Some had big breasts. Some had big stomach. And some had a long tongue. One was without a tongue, one was without a nose, and one had the face of a pig, one had the face of a lion, and so on. So all these horrible, horrible looking Rakshasas and these kind of creatures we don't see today, but probably they were there during that time. And all these different Rakshasis, he called all of them and then he gave them a task. He told them either with good words, sweet words, angry words, scolding words, whatever kind of words you want to use, you use those words and bring Sita under my possession. If you want, you can treat her badly, you can give her punishment, you do whatever you want. But at the end of it, she should come under my control. He gives that instruction. And then there was a particular Rakshasi by the name Dhanya Malini. So that Rakshasi, she actually comes towards Ravan, and then she embraces Ravan because she sees that Ravan is so angry. So she goes and lovingly embraces him, and she tells, "Hey, king, leave that Sita. Enjoy with me. What is the use of the Sita? She's colorless. Look at her. She's so pale. See, she's so wretched. And don't desire her of all people. You should be desiring me. What is the use of desiring a woman who doesn't desire you? You will never get happiness. Good happiness will never occur to one who loves a woman who doesn't desire him. But you should love a woman who desires you, and I desire you. So let's go on." She goes and she hugs him and she calls him. And then Ravana turns back at her, laughs, and then he departs. And while he departs, the earth is shaking. And finally, he walks away with Dhanya Malini, and then he enters the huge mansion, which is his house. Now, the Rakshasis, they begin to torture Sita because their leader, he has told, now you have to torture her, bring her under my control. I don't know what you will do. You talk to her, you torture her with good words, bad words, it doesn't matter. But somehow or the other, the task is that the Rakshasis should bring Sita under the control of Ravan. So right after Ravana left, all the Rakshasas, they started running towards Sita to threaten her. A Rakshasi by the name Ekajata, she goes towards Sita and she tells, "Hey, tiny Sita, your belly is so thin that it can be held by my palm." Actually, that is considered great Samudrika Lakshanam. People who have this waist that is, it should be only so much waist. My waist is like a balloon, but that is considered Samadrika Lakshanam. Actually, there are some women who have that kind of waist. And of course, the hips should be broad. That is also Samadrika Lakshan. But the waist, the top part of the hips, the top portion alone should be only so much, the size of the palm. Um, but this Rakshasi, she goes and tells the Rakshasi by the name Ekajata, she tells, "Hey, your waist can be held by a palm. You're so ugly. Listen to me. Do you know who this Ravan is? There was a great Prajapati by the name Pulatsya. He's very, very famous as the mind-born son of Brahma. His son is Vishrava. And our king Ravan is the son of that Vishrava. He has such a great lineage. Why can't you marry him? What is your problem? You're such an ugly looking human being. Can't you marry this great Ravan who has such a great lineage?" And then there was another demoness by the name Pragasa, and then Vikata and Dhurmukhi. They all came together and they started scaring Sita. They told Sita, "What's wrong with you? Why can't you marry Ravan? He's the best among all the warriors. He's the most valorous person in this entire creation. Just go fall and surrender unto him. And if you just say, 'I am yours,' then you will remain happy for the rest of your life." So like this, those three demonesses, they went and told Sita Devi. Then there were other demonesses who stepped forward and they told Sita, "Hey, what is this? Why are you so attached to this this human-like values of being chaste only to one husband and all that?" Forget all that, Rakshasis. We don't follow all those rules and regulations. You come and sport with Ravan. Actually, you can enjoy so much. You can enjoy the luxuries of all the three worlds. And if you're adamant like this, you will unnecessarily die. Our king has given you only a 2-month time period. You'll be cooked and we'll all eat you for breakfast. So don't do this. Just give in to his desires. So, like this, when Sita heard all this, she says, "What are you all talking? How can I, who is the wife of Lord Ramachandra, become the wife of a Rakshasa? I only belong to Ram and nobody else. I cannot even think of Ravan in my mind. No, forget being with him. If you Rakshasis want to eat me up, eat me, but stop saying all these things. It's terrible." And then she begins to tell about how chastity is very important, and she would want to remain that way. She says, just like how Shachi Devi waits upon Indra, Arundhati waits on Vasishta. Rohini Devi, she waits on the moon god. Lopamudra, the great wife of Agastya, always has her mind on Agastya. How Sukanya was very chaste and she was known as the great wife of Chavana Muni. So, you know the story of Sukanya from the ninth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like how Savitri was always thinking only of Satyavan, another famous couple. Just like how Srimati on Kapila. I don't know how Srimati and Kapila came here, but that is what is told in the Ramayana. Then Madayanti of Saudasa, this we have learned in Bhagavatam. Keshini on Sagara, this is also there in the Bhagavatam. Damayanti, the daughter of Bhima, devoted to the husband Nala, this is there in Mahabharata and in the Ram and in the Bhagavatam. She says, in the same way, I am devoted to my husband Rama, who's the best in the Ikshvaku dynasty. So when she said all this, the Rakshasis, they got very, very agitated and they told each other, this Sita is totally useless. Actually, she is not fit for our Ravan. And they began to shout at her. And then Sita, who was so frightened, slowly she moved away from there. And she again moved from all these Rakshasas and she decided to walk away from them. Okay, so sorry, am I sharing the right thing? Just one second, let me share. Yeah. So this was the torture of the different demonesses, and she slightly moved away from that place as they were torturing her. So Sita Devi, she decided she will move from there and she will go and sit under another tree. And she said, she started to, lament. She was telling, a human woman is definitely not suited to become the wife of a Rakshasa. If you all eat me according to your desire. I will just do whatever you want. And Sita's heart was so broken and she was so filled with grief. And holding the branch of the Ashoka tree under which she was sitting, she was continuously thinking of her husband. She was tormented by grief and she was calling out, Oh Rama, Oh Rama, Oh Lakshmana, Oh Kausalya. Hey, my mother-in-law Kausalya, Oh Sumitra. I have such a small fortune. I'm like an orphan. I've been left here. I'm going to perish like the ship in the middle of an ocean that is hit by the speed of the wind. Why has Ram not yet come? It is better to give up my life than get eaten by all these different Rakshasis. She was crying. She was telling, is my heart really made of iron? Why am I not dying after knowing that Ram hasn't come? Why is this sorrow not destroying me? I should leave my body. Let my life be split into pieces. Let it be eaten by anyone. Without my husband, I cannot keep up this body for too long. I will not touch even with my left foot that Ravan, who is a great Rakshas, who doesn't have any conduct. What to say of desiring him? I won't even touch him with my left foot. He has, my dear Lord Rama, he had killed 14,000 demons headed by Karadushan. He has so much prowess, but why is he not coming here? Why is he not saving me? The Jatayu, he tried protecting me when I was being kidnapped, and he did a one-on-one combat with Ravan, but even Jatayu couldn't stand the force with which Ravan was attacking him. I hope Jatayu is able to give this message to Ram. If Ram at all knows that I am living here in Lanka, he will come. He will make this world without Rakshasas. And this Lanka will become like a graveyard, and there'll be the smoke of funeral pyres will just crowd in the sky, and there'll be vultures eating the bodies of these Rakshasas who have tortured me. Whatever inauspicious things are seen, all that will be there for Lanka very soon, the minute my Prabhu, my Lord Ramachandra comes here. But if he doesn't come, why has he not come? Maybe if he doesn't come, one of these Rakshasas will eat me for breakfast. What will I do without Ram? I'm just grieving. I'm just grieving. I don't know what happened to them. Lakshmana Purvaja may be thinking, I am dead. Is that the reason why he's not come? Lakshmana Purvaja means one who was born before Lakshman. She keeps calling Ram by the name of Lakshman. One of the commentators say that is because she was feeling guilty at this point in time, because she said harsh words to Lakshman and she sent him away, right? So in 2 chapters continuously, she indicates Rama by the name of Lakshman. So she says, Lakshmana Purvaja must be thinking that I am dead, otherwise he would have come. Or Lakshmana Agraja might have given up his life in separation, so he is not able to come. Or these two brothers who have these weapons must have decided that they couldn't find me and they could have become lifelong forest dwellers. They could have taken sannyas and they could just be roaming around in the forest eating roots and fruits. And they could have given up that they will ever be able to see me. So, like this, she went on lamenting, sitting under that Ashoka tree and seeing her that she is just not listening to them. The Rakshasi, some of them, they got up, they were so disgusted with Sita. They just got up and they said, this lady, she won't listen to us. And they wanted to go and complain to Ravan. While some other demonesses, they were constantly telling her, we are going to eat you now. If you don't listen to us, we will right now kill you and eat you. So at that time, suddenly there was one Rakshasi who woke up. She was actually still sleeping. It was because it was early morning, right? So she was still sleeping and suddenly she woke up. What is the name of this Rakshasi? The name of this Rakshasi was Trijata. Govindaraja commentary says she was the daughter of Vibhishan. Okay, this is according to the commentary. She was the daughter of Vibhishan. So she woke up and she saw a dream. So she got up and she said, hey, Rakshasi, stop. Why are you telling you're going to eat Sita? You rather eat yourselves. I saw a terrible dream. In the dream, I saw Rama and Lakshman arriving in an ivory palanquin that was decorated with many beautiful swans, and they appeared in this palanquin from the sky. Sita was wearing white garments and she went towards Rama, just like how sunshine unites with the sun. Thereafter, Sita united with Ram, that is, she went and she met Ram and Lakshman, and she was seated on a white elephant with 4 tusks, and they all together ascended upward and gently touched the moon and the sun with their hand. And then later again, they ascended the Pushpaka Viman and they went in the northern direction and they touched the sky, which means it is all very auspicious, flying in the sky, touching the sun, the moon, going in the north direction, wearing pristine white colored clothes. All this is considered auspicious. Okay. Now, however, Ravan, this is the dream that Trijata saw. So she said, however, Ravana was also seen by me. But how was he seen? He was sprinkled with oil on all his limbs. He was wearing red colored clothes and garlands that were tied with reddish flowers. He was drinking oil. He was intoxicated. And not only that, while he was going like this, his head was shaven. Again, some of his clothes were black and he was pulled by donkeys. And while he was going like this towards the southern direction, he fell upside down. He slipped from the chariot and he fell upside down. And not only that, after I saw this vision of Ravana going like this in terrible red and black garments with shaven head, smeared oil on his limbs, and going in the southern direction and falling off, I also saw that many Vanaras came and they burned the entire Lanka. So Trijata says, oh, this was an early morning dream. All of us know, right? Early morning dream means it will come true. So Brahma Muhurta, right after that, she had this dream. So she says, this is going to come true. This just shows that Sita is filled with auspicious omens and you should stop torturing her. So Trijata, she tells all the demonesses at this point in time, hey demonesses, you all surrender unto Sita. Seek forgiveness from Sita. Take her shelter. This Sita is the daughter of Janaka and she becomes very pleased if someone prostrates in front of her and she's very competent to protect us from all danger. These are the words of Trijata. So what did Trijata recommend? That Trijata, she recommended the demonesses, all the Rakshasis, to fall at the feet of Sita, because Sita becomes pleased immediately and she can offer abhayam. She can offer protection from all danger. Pranipata prasanna hi maitili janakatmaja alamesha parittrarum rakshasyo mahato bhayat. She said, hey Rakshasas, she will give you abhayam, she will give you protection, pranipata. Go and surrender unto this Prasanna Maithili, who's Janakatmaja. Go and fall at her feet. She will give all of us protection. But the demonesses, what did they do? They did not surrender. They just listened to her and they went away. They just walked away. They thought, yeah, if at all needed, if at all her dream comes true, then we'll think about it. So they kept quiet, considering we can do something when it is needed. But now our master is Ravan, so we will only listen to what Ravan says. So they kept quiet and they walked away. Again, keep this in mind. Okay, this is something very interesting. They should have surrendered, but they didn't. So did it mean that they were not protected? That we will know soon, maybe in 1 or 2 classes, or even more, maybe 5, 6, or even 10 classes down the lane, we'll know what happened to the demonesses. Anyway, so at that time, after Trijatas told this, Sita was still sitting under the Ashoka tree and she was feeling very sad. But suddenly, after all these predictions was made, her left eye, thigh, and her arm started trembling. That is, no, like you say, twitching of the eye, right? So the left eye, thigh, and arms, they were trembling. And immediately Trijata saw that and she said, look at that, Rakshasis. She will be very fortunate. There are some very good omens seen on her body. Not only that, there was something else that happened. Pakshi cha shaka nilayam prahrishta punascha uttama santavadi suswagatam vachamuddirayanaha punaschodayativa krishta. This is one verse that is also very heavily commented on, and we will take some time to understand this verse. These are the words of Trijata. Now, while the demonesses were walking away, she calls the demonesses and she shows 2 things. One is she shows that on the left side of the body of Sita, there are many auspicious omens. So first and foremost thing is that you all must already be aware by now. There is a difference between nimitta and shakuna. The body can show certain signs, and these signs are called as nimitta. And generally, when you read omens from the movement of birds, it is called as shakuna. Okay. When you read omens looking at animals and one's body or the body of others, it is called as nimitta. So now the left side of the body of a woman, if it is twitching, be it the thighs or the arms or the eyes, it is considered auspicious. Whereas for a man, if the right side is twitching, then it is considered as auspicious. This we have seen multiple times in the Ramayana. It's not the first time this concept is coming. Probably the 20th or 30th time it's coming. Right from Balakand till the end of Ayodhya Kand or even Uttarakanda, you will see this Nimitta Shastra coming up again and again. So this means that Sita Devi will be very lucky very soon. Okay. Not only that, Trijata, very nicely, she says, Pakshi cha shaka nilayam prakrishtaha. There is a Pakshi. Pakshi means bird. Pakshi cha shaka nilayam. Shaka nilayam means shaka's branches, right? Prakrishtaha. That is, he's very happy. One Pakshi has come, she's telling. There is a bird that is stationed on the branches of the tree. Punascha uttama santavadi. Santvavadi. That means again and again, this Pakshi is making some uttama, very nice, first class sounds, okay? First class chirping. Very nicely that bird is chirping. Suswagatam vachama mudriyanaha. That is, it appears that when you hear that Pakshi chirping like that, that Pakshi is telling, oh, welcome, welcome. The Pakshi is welcoming someone. The vacha, the sound that is being made is like as a The Pakshi is saying Suswagatam, Suswagatam. The bird is welcoming somebody. Puna chodita yativa krishta. Again and again, the Pakshi is telling something, and the Pakshi is very happy. What does this mean? Let's see. The actual translation is, there is a bird that has come to the dwelling place of this area and is seated on the branch. Again and again, it is speaking very consoling words, very nice, Uttama Santavadi, very nice, advising, very, very sweet words. It is telling heartily welcoming words. It is delighted again and again, and it is making Sita very happy. Yativa Harshta. It is making the Sita very, very happy. Now, we all know who's that Pakshi who's sitting, but here, Trijata is specifically telling a bird. Actually, there was a bird also who came and was chirping very nicely. Trijata was telling that bird. But our acharyas, they have found so many meanings in this one sentence. It is, in fact, one of the most commented words of the entire Sundarakand. So we can imagine it's considered very important, but we'll go through the meaning step by step. So the first meaning is that yes, there is a bird. Bridgetta really saw a bird, and the bird was chirping very nicely, and it was sounding like Suswagatam, Suswagatam, and giving happiness to Sita. Okay. The other meaning is that this bird is actually Garuda. Okay. Garuda is the carrier of the Lord. So Pakshi cha Shaka Nilayam Prakrishtaha means Garuda came, he made a circle, and he came and sat on the branch. And who is Garuda? Garuda is the carrier of the Lord. So punascha uttama santavadi. Again and again, Garuda was consoling Sita, telling, don't worry, the Lord is coming soon. I am the carrier of the Lord. If I have come, obviously the Lord is also there. He's coming. So swagatam. He's telling, yes, he is coming. He's getting welcomed. He's going to come. He's going to come, and he's going to fight with all the Rakshasas and take you back. So puna chodita yativa krishta. So like this, Garuda was speaking very heartwarming words to Sita, telling that don't worry, be happy, all your rough times are gone. All this pain that you're going through, this bird will eat off all these painful stress that you are going through. The bird will take away everything. I will take away everything. Don't worry. The Lord has come. Okay, that is the second meaning. Now, the third meaning is, yes, Hanuman himself was sitting on the branch. He is that Pakshi who has come. Why he is called Pakshi? Because he came flying. Hanuman came flying. He crossed over the ocean and he came. And he's seated on the Shakanilayam. Yes, he's seated on the branch. And he's very, very happy because he has found Sita. Punascha Uttama Santavadi. He is the one who's going to actually now start giving consoling words. So Swagatam, Vacha Mudirayanaha. That means this Hanuman is going to welcome the Lord very soon. Now that he has come, obviously the Lord is also going to be welcomed here. Punaschodita Yativa Krishna. Again and again, he is giving happiness. He will be giving happiness to the Sita now that he has come. Third meaning. Now the fourth meaning. For understanding the fourth meaning, we should understand that Hanuman plays the role of the Acharya as it is stated in the Sundara Kanda. Now, this Sita, she is in Lanka, right? Now, in the beginning, there was an allegory that was mentioned. This allegory is slightly different, but the same Acharya gives another allegory for this particular situation. Okay, so now he says that this Lanka is like the body. Just like how Lanka is surrounded by water because it's an island, similarly, in our body also, we are surrounded by the samsara. Remember those demonesses that we were talking about? I kept telling, think about it. How are the demonesses described? Some had one eye, some had flat nose, some had long tongue, some were like this, some were like that, hands were like this, leg was like this. So these demonesses, they represent our senses. Eyes, nose, mouth, tongue, ears, and our limbs because of the skin. So these are all the senses. The demons with one eye, two eye, all of them, they are the representation of the senses. So we are constantly tormented by senses in the samsara, having taken up this body. This Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they have given instructions to the senses, right? So this Ravana is the ahankara that a jiva gets once he gets this body, and Kumbhakarna, who's his brother, is the mamakara. Because once you have ahankar, you also have mamakar, right? Like I think of I, and then I think of mine. So the mine, this is mine. This object is mine. This is my sister, my brother. So everything becomes mine. With ahankar comes mamakar, just like how with Ravana, his brother Kumbhakarna comes. So Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they represent ahankar and mamakar. What about Ravana's sons like Indrajit and Akshakumar and all of them? They represent the six vices, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. They represent the six vices we automatically have once we have ahankara and we identify with this body. And then we are suffering in this body that is tormented by the senses, that has ahankara and mamakara, that has the six vices. Now, how to get out of this terrible, terrible situation? For that, we need a acharya. We need an acharya. Now, this acharya is a pakshi. That is a description. Pakshi cha shakanilayam prahrishtaha. That means this pakshi is the acharya. The pakshi has two wings. According to Govinda Raja, he says the two wings are nothing but jnana and anushtana. That means knowledge of scriptures, because when the acharya comes with the knowledge of scriptures, he educates us. And anushtana is the proper behavior, the sadachar and other things. So generally we say, right, sadhana, sadachar and swadhyaya. These are very important. Three S's. Sadhana, sadachar, swadhyaya. So basically you put sadhana and sadachar together and swadhyaya in another section. You'll get two wings. So this acharya, he's got two wings. And he's come and he's situated in Shaka Nilayam. That means on top of the Shakas, on top of the branches. Just like how an Acharya who's well read in the Shastras knows the Shakas. Shakas is like for Veda, we say Veda Shakas, right? So basically he's well versed in knowledge. That's what it means. So this Acharya, he has come and he is giving very good words. Uttama Santavadi. That means he's giving us auspicious advice. Punascha yativa Krishna. Again and again, he is telling us some nice words. So swagatam vachamudirenayaha. That means he's telling us, hey, welcome, welcome. I will take you back to Godhead. I will take you to the right place. You are not supposed to be here. I will tell you who's the one you should look out for. I will take you to the right place. Punaschodayati Krishna. Again and again, he's correcting us. He's giving us knowledge. He's coming in the Guru Parampara. Puna means he's also not just randomly coming and giving us advice. He has actually come properly in the Guru Parampara and he's correcting the disciple, Yativa Krishna, and making the disciple happy and correcting him and making him understand that this body is not what you should be attached to. Rather, you should be focusing on that suswagatam, that is a welcoming note that the Acharya is bringing to take you back to the spiritual world. So your focus should be on the Supreme Lord. So like that, this Pakshi is also the Acharya that comes to enlighten the soul who is encapsulated inside this body. So these are the different meanings given to this one particular verse of the Sundara Kanda. So the four meanings, actually, one is the bird itself, like how Trijata says. Then the second one is Garuda. The third is Hanuman, because Hanuman has also come. And the fourth is the Acharya, for the person, the human who's stuck in this body called as Lanka, who's tormented by the senses, who is suffering from Ahankara and Mamakara and the vices. And then the Acharya comes and he tells him good words and corrects him and takes him back to Godhead. Okay. So now Drujata finished speaking. Okay, so now what happened after that? Sita, she was lamenting so much and she kept on speaking to herself. She said, Nunam nakalo mrudarupadhari mamala alpa bhagyaluluba tadanim Yatra yatra putram visarja muda Ramanujam Lakshmana Purvajam cha. So she said, actually, time personified came as a deer. So from this Mrigarupadhari, that was Kala, it was time personified, that came as a deer. I was illusioned, my Alpabhagyam, I was illusioned. Lakshmana and Ramachandra, I'm not sure if they have even met. That means she's telling, after the deer came and I got illusioned, I'm so unfortunate, I didn't listen to anyone. I got illusioned. I sent Rama. Rama first went. Then later I sent Lakshmana. Again, she's feeling bad for what she did. So she says, again I sent Lakshmana, but I don't know if Lakshmana really went and met Lord Rama. And when she's telling this, her heart was very heavy. She was feeling bad that she shouldn't have sent Lakshman. At the same time, she calls Lakshmana as Ramanuja. That means the Anuja of Rama. And she calls Ramachandra as Lakshmana Purvaja, the one who was born before Lakshman. She could have just said Rama and Lakshman, right? Why did she say Ramanujam, Lakshmana Purvajam? So again, the commentator comes and tells that they are known by each other's name, and that is the happiness that they get actually. So just like how when we talk about Krishna, there are primary names of Krishna and secondary names of Krishna. When we talk about primary names of Krishna, we say Yashodanandan, Nandanandan, or Radhika, Vallabh, and so on, right? So these are different primary names. When Krishna is known by his dear devotees, that name is very pleasing to Krishna. That are his primary names. Similarly, the devotee is always known in relation with the Lord, like we say, uh, Krishna Das or Rama Das. So the devotee is glorified when he's always in connection with the Lord, and similarly, the Lord is glorified when he's always in connection with the devotee. So Sita was feeling very, very bad that she had hurt the sentiments of a devotee. So saying that, she was also thinking, my Lord will be pleased only if he is known by the name of Lakshmana, Ramanuja. And Lakshmana will be pleased because of his service to Lord Ramachandra. He's the servant of Lord Ramachandra. So he's Ramanuja and Ramachandra is Lakshmana Purvaja. So thinking like that, she calls out to them. And then she tells Ram in her own words, in her mournful state, she's telling Ram, oh Ram, wherever you are, the mistake is mine. At least you return to Ayodhya safe. And I will give up my life very soon. I don't think I'm going to survive anymore. It's better for me to give up my life than just allow this Ravan to come and kill me or the Rakshasis to eat me. So I'll try to get poison or a sharp weapon and I will kill myself. And then she's telling to herself, oh, but in this Lanka, who's going to give me poison or a sharp weapon? Even to get that, I have to be dependent on the house of Ravana. So what is the use? I will not even be able to get it. So then she begins to lament in various ways, and she was recollecting her nice time that she spent with Lord Ramachandra and how Lakshmana was serving both of them. And she was trembling. She had a very emaciated face, and she got up and again she started walking, and she went and sat under the Simshupa tree on which Hanuman was now sitting and watching everything. So she held her braid, okay? She held her braid and she looked towards the tree and she was thinking, with this braid, I will tie my neck. I will make this braid like a rope. I will tie it to the tree and then I will hang myself. Okay. So this is what Sita was thinking. And on top of the Simshupa tree, who was there? Hanuman was there. So now slowly again, night was setting in. Okay. Again, the entire day got over with her lamentation and the night was setting in. The moon had risen and the Rakshasis were all falling asleep. So now Sita held her braid and just with her body language, Hanuman could understand that she's having thoughts of suicide. Hanuman was a very keen observer and a very well-learned Pandita. So he could understand that she's not okay. She's holding her braid and she's assessing the length of her braid and trying to tie it to the branch. So while she was doing that, her left eye, and shoulders began to quiver again. So why is it quivering now? Because there is a good indication that someone is going to talk to her. Who is that someone? It is going to be Hanuman. So Hanuman is going to soon talk to her and give her the good news. Seeing that she had intentions of suicide, now Hanuman thought, I have to act. He thought, this is the Sita whom I was searching. And so many monkeys went in all directions. The Vanaras, they were dispatched in different directions to find the Sita. This Sita has been finally found by me. And now I have seen the strength of Ravana. I have seen the characteristics of the demons. I have seen Lanka. But it is very pertinent for me at this time to console this wife of Rama. She's thinking of her husband continuously, and she's a very compassionate person. So I cannot speak in the presence of the female demons. Now, if these demons are going to be around her, I cannot speak loudly. So, what has to be done? I have to think through this very carefully. If I do not speak before night, she will definitely, before the night ends, she's going to hang herself for sure. So now this Hanuman, he took the form of a small monkey that was the size of a cat, right? So he had taken that form and he was hiding in the branch. So he was thinking, if I go in front of Sita like this, as in the form of a monkey, suddenly and start speaking to her, she will definitely think this is Ravana, because Ravan is known to take multiple forms. He's a Rakshasa, right? So he's known to take various kinds of forms. Yeah, at his will, he will take the form of, any form that he likes pretty much. So just now he has warned me and he has gone. So she might think that this monkey is Ravan. If I go in front of her in my original Vanara form, she will faint seeing me. She'll be like, who's this random Vanara who just jumped from the tree? So she will faint. And in any form, if I begin to talk in Sanskrit, she will be shocked. She will think, how can a monkey talk Sanskrit? So she will be extremely shocked. She will even suspect again that I am Ravana who's trying to fool her. So she will be completely confused. She may even scream out and alert all the Rakshasis. So now Hanuman was thinking, what should I do? I need to take some action. I need to talk in some sweet human language that she can understand. If I say ke, 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 like a monkey, she won't even understand what I am talking. She has to understand what I'm talking. I cannot take the form of a monkey and go and stand in front of her and talk in Sanskrit. She'll be perplexed. First of all, I cannot take the form of a monkey and just stand in front of her. That itself, she'll start thinking I'm Ravan. I cannot jump from the tree in the Vanar form. What should I do? What should I talk? So he was thinking like that, and then he convinced himself, let me actually talk something by which she will not move from that place. She will not run away from that place. So the best thing to talk when people will not run away is Harikatha. So when you're speaking Harikatha, it won't be nice to just walk away. So let me speak Ramakatha. That way she will sit and she will listen. And no one will stop in between. Not only that, the reason Hanuman decided to speak the Ramayana is because Ramayana is also called as Mrita Sanjeevani. This is one of the properties of Ramayana. Anyone who hears the Ramayana, even the life will be restored. They say, right, if you do Sundara Parayan, you can even revive lives. The Ramayana is called as Mrita Sanjeevani. So her life will be restored. She cannot suicide. She will just be listening. She will not suicide. And so he thinks, okay, how to talk, I have to speak to her, how to talk. I have to talk in a language that she understands. I will not talk in Sanskrit. I will talk in a language that she understands. And he says Madhura Bhasha, Madhura Vakyam. That is the word that is used. I have to use Madhura Vakyam. I should speak in a sweet language, and the words that I speak should be trustable by Sita. I should choose verses. I should speak verses in a way that Sita trusts what I am talking. So I will only speak relevant verses. Now, for this Madhura Vakyam, now everybody will give their own opinion. So, if you see the commentators from South, they will say the Madhura Bhasha is Tamil. If you see the commentators from Avadi, they will say the Madhura Bhasha is Avadi. So, you keep whatever you want, some human language basically. Okay. So, that language, Hanuman, he begins to speak the Ramayana. इति स बहुविधां महानुभावो जगति पते प्रमादाम् अवेक्षमाण मधुरम् अवित्थं जगादवाक्यं द्रुमवितप अन्तरम् आस्थितो. Sorry. The noble-minded Hanuman, hiding amidst the twigs in the tree, began to see Sita, and he spoke the following words, which were definitely not futile. So all the thoughts that he had, how should I speak? Should I speak in a monkey language? Should I speak in a human language? Should I speak in Sanskrit? What kind of words should I use? How should I start the conversation? Should I say, Rama is the son of Dasharath. Rama went to the forest. If I start the conversation saying Rama, Sita will get alerted immediately. She'll think something happened to Sita. So I should not start the katha with the word Rama. I should talk in a different way. I should do Harikatha. I should chant the glories of the Lord. I should chant his holy names. But when I start, I should not use the word Ram, because the minute I say Ram, what happened to Ram? That's the kind of reaction she will give. So I should be very careful. So how should I talk? Thinking like that, now Hanuman, he begins to chant the entire Ramayana. So he says, Raja Dasharatho Nama Ratakunjaravajinam Punyashilo Mahakirtihi Rijuhu Asin Mahashayaha. So he begins chanting the Ramayana with the name of the father, Raja Dasharatha. Because anyhow, Raja Dasharatha went back to Godhead. So there is no need for her to worry that something happened to Dasharath. So he begins the katha with Raja Dasharatha. So he says, there was a great king, Dasharath, who was very, very virtuous. He had 4 sons, and the eldest was Ram. Ram was sent to the forest with Lakshman and Vaidehi. While in the forest, he killed many demons. After the killing of Karadushan, Sita was kidnapped because of the Maya Mriga. Searching for Sita, this wonderful lady, Lord Ramchandra, he met a monkey or a Vanara by the name Sugriva, and he made Sugriva his friend in the forest. He then killed Vali and gave Sugriva the kingdom. As commanded and sent by Sugriva, thousands of Vanaras who are capable of assuming different forms at their will are now searching out for that lady Sita in all the corners of the world. By the words of Sampati, myself, a very swift Vanara, crossed the ocean having the strength of 100 yojanas for the sake of this broad-eyed Sita. The Sita has now been found by me, he says, according to the same attributes, complexion and bodily marks that I heard from her Lord Rama. So he speaks the entire Ramayana, beginning with Raja Dasharatha Nama Ratakunjaravajinam. So starting from that till the end, that it is me, I have come here. I am a great swift Vanara who has crossed the ocean of 100 yojanas for the sake of this Sita, and this Sita has been found by me in the same attributes, the same complexion and bodily marks that was described to be by her Lord Rama. So he says that, and he stops speaking the Ramayana. And Sita, when she started hearing Raja Dasharatha Rama, she was like, okay, this is Ramayana. So she was listening to her own story, the story of her Lord, and she was stunned listening to it. And towards the end, when Hanuman said, I have come here for the sake of that Sita, when she heard this, she was thinking, who is this person? She was extremely surprised. It was like nectar pouring into her ears. All this while, what was she hearing? She was hearing all the demonesses telling her, surrender to Ravana. You should consider Ravana as your husband. She was brainwashed continuously, and she heard all sorts of evil words from all the Rakshasis and Ravana. But for the first time in this 10 months day, it was like nectar that she was hearing. She was hearing nectar pouring into her ears. And she really wanted to see who this person was. For so many years, Sita's neck was always turned downward. She had never lifted her neck because she was always in distress and she didn't want to see anybody's face. So her neck was always turned downward. Now, with great difficulty, that neck that was used to just being always down, she slowly warmed up. She looked at the sides. She looked in the left, and first she looked down, thinking, is Mother Bhumi talking to me? Is my mother talking to me to console me? Then she looked at the sides to see maybe Jatayu has come hopping all the way here because that was the last person, who tried to help her. So she was saying, oh, is that great? My father-in-law's friend Jatayu, he's hopped all the way and he's come here. She was trying to look at the sides. And then finally she looked upward, and there she saw this intelligent Hanuman who spoke perfectly, who knew exactly what to do, who is the son of wind god. He was sitting on the branch of a tree and he was looking like the sun behind the eastern mountain, the sun that is just rising to dismiss all the troubles that she's now facing. So with that, we'll stop here and then we'll see their conversation in the next class. Hare Krishna.
No, Mataji, you should continue. Yes, Mataji, don't want.
Yes, Mataji. Continue. Please continue.
Mataji, please continue.
I should prepare.
Now we know.
We are very, very happy that you actually didn't finish on a very depressing note, but you
Yeah.
started talking about Hanuman. So much respect for Hanumanji. And I have so much gratitude to you for actually going through and talking about Hanuman and what he is saying to her. Or you have left us on a high note today.
You, Mataji.
You
Thank you
took us
so
to Ashoka Vatika, Mataji.
Thank
You took us to Ashoka Vatika.
Thank you.
Hi, Preeti. Very nice class. I really enjoyed those explanations you gave. The descriptions of how the Rakshasis looked and all that. It was fun to hear all that. And also, I just was wondering, you gave those examples of chaste ladies. So was that quoted by Sita Mata, or is it like Acharya's commentaries? Or I
No,
mean, I wasn't clear on
direct,
that one.
it was a direct quote by Sita.
Sorry, Haribol.
It was a direct quote by Sita, directly the verses of Ramayana.
Oh,
Not
wow. So, are we to understand that these women quoted as examples actually were, these things happened before the Treta Yuga? Is that right to understand, Preeti?
yeah, most of them,
I mean,
right?
since Sita Mata. Okay.
Most
Mhm.
of them were before Treta Yuga only. As far as I remember, I can look up the verses again. But most of these ladies were all before
Mhm.
Treta Yuga only. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought some of them you said had references in Mahabharata, but
Yeah,
then go. Mhm.
Mahabharat, again, they hear these stories. When they are in Vanvas, they hear the stories of all these people again, like that.
Oh, you mean okay? So it's also in Mahabharata the history of these was described.
Ah, history, yeah. In Bhagavatam also, the history of these great kings are all mentioned. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting class. Really, it was. I don't log in too often, but I was just wanting to hear from you. Set the mood for Ramanavami, so I logged in today, and it's such a wonderful session, Preeti. Thank you so much, for so nicely compiling everything and giving to us.
All glories to, of course, the Ramayana itself and the commentators and all you Vaishnavas and our Guru Vargas. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
All good.
Very good.
So much, Mataji. Dandavat pranams. Very beautiful. No words to describe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It was excellent session, as always. Yes, Pralhadananda Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Danvat Pranam. Very nice Hanumanji story. Hanumanji is very famous all over the world, and every Indian loves Hanumanji. There's no doubt about it. But in this perspective of Ramayana, we see that Mata Sita should not have said such words to Lakshmana, and we always think that why she did. And Ravan thought that I can cheat, make a kind of make fool of Ram and put the broog and all that. But he didn't know that Ram already had fooled him by making Sita as a Chaya Sita, And Chaya Sita, I understand, had taken as Vedvati, she had promised that I'll destroy you, And that's how she came as Chaya Sita. And then the whole story took place like that. So for a materialist, for an impersonalist, they think that we can overcome God's plan, but that's not possible. That's what we can surmise from this. That's what I thought. Thank you very much, Mata.
Thank you so much, Babuji. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you once again for this excellent session. And really very happy that you didn't stop. Otherwise, the entire week, Sita would be in the lamenting situation. Now she's at least having some hopes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. So we'll stop here. Thank you, dear devotees. Mataji has left us at a very high point with high hopes.
Yeah, I think the next class will be more intense with their conversations and all. It's a very long conversation. Yeah.
That's okay, Mataji. More time in this world to hear Ramayana. And as Ram Navami is also approaching, so it's always good.
Yeah, Ram Navami will have a different class on 5th.
Yeah.
And we'll see some parts of what we covered today also on 5th. Because the topic is like that, we'll have to take off from Trijata's dream only. And that's how the topic starts in the class that we will do soon on 5th. Okay.
Sure, Mataji.
Yeah.
Okay, dear devotees, thank you all so much for joining. Let's pay obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatiru.
Chakrapa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo.
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय
Prabhupada,
बात की जय
Valmiki, Ramayana ki jai, Har Grace Preethi Vilasini.
माता की जय थैंक यू सो मच जी हरे कृष्णा
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.